Is the ball in whose court? That's what we need to know. Where's the ball? On which court does it exist? I'm Tim Donnelly, The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox producing the show.
Where's the possession arrow?
we need a review. We need the replay assist. Is the ball in Bill Belichick's court or is the ball in UNC's court? UNC is going through the most important hire in their athletic program's history. I'm not just saying that now. I said it a couple weeks ago. Basically, as soon as Mac Brown was fired, I said, ooh, this one's important. It doesn't appear as if anyone is ready to handle that level of a hire right now. We are hearing reports from The Guardian, Ali Connolly of The Guardian, that says the ball is in UNC's court, meaning Bill Belichick has issued his what's longer than a list? 400 pages of laid out, planned, and financial demands that he has given to UNC.
Manifesto at that point?
Manifesto, CVS receipt, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The report from The Guardian is that Bill Belichick has given that to UNC and said, I will accept under these conditions. The ball is in your court. There are some reports from Diana Rossini, from Jonathan Jones, some names we recognize a bit more that say UNC has made their offer to Bill Belichick and the ball is in his court. Wherever the ball in the court, in the replay, the inbounds, the out of bounds, it's getting close. Or at least it's still a possibility. And do you know what I'm worried about? I'm worried about this. I don't know if anyone can say yes. There's a report on The Athletic. Again, reporting done many different places. There's a report on The Athletic. Brennan Marks and Ralph Russo on the byline. I don't know if there's someone within UNC that could say deal.
Yeah, who's the final decision maker?
You ever been in that situation? You're like interviewing for a job. You're in a room with 4 people and they're grilling you and you realize about halfway through, I don't think any of you can say, you've got the job, here's the offer. So now I'm just talking to people that have to go talk to somebody, that has to go talk to somebody, then I'm going to have to go talk to somebody else. And you're like, we're not that close, are we? The Athletic article illustrates a complete mess behind the scenes for UNC. Some members of the Board of Trustees, including Board of Trustees Chair John Pryor, seem to have some kind of professional animosity towards Athletic Director Bubba Cunningham, which is not great. There's the acting chancellor, the chancellor, the presidents, the board members, the this, the that, and nobody seems to be on the same page. Starting with the firing of Mac Brown. Again, the article draws out how some weren't on board with it, some were on board with it, some were telling Board of Trustees members may have been telling Mac Brown, you're good, tell everybody you're coming back next year. Only to less than a week later have the Hawaii contingent, which was out at Hawaii to see the Maui Invitational, athletic director, chancellor, that sort of deal, turn around and fire him before the week was up. Now the search has been a mess. And this is just a timeline thing for all of you. Right after the Mac Brown firing, Bubba Cunningham, the athletic director, went on the Inside Carolina podcast, and one of the things he said was the potential hires we're looking at are still coaching. So he was basically saying don't expect to hire right now because there were conference championships coming up, NFL games still going on. So he's like the guys we're looking at are still coaching, so a week-ish on the hiring timeline. Matter of fact, Dennis just said he pulled up the audio. He's that quick with it. Here was Bubba Cunningham on the Inside Carolina pod right after the Mac Brown firing.
I would hope to have it done within a week. That would certainly be my expectation. We get it done by this time next week. We should be done. But that could slide forwards or backwards. Sure. But that would be my hope.
They're still coaching. Well, guess what? We know that they interviewed Bill Belichick. We know that they interviewed Steve Wilkes. Those have been reported and by multiple sources. Neither of those guys were coaching at that time. Bill Belichick hasn't coached in a year. Steve Wilkes was an analyst, advisory role style deal for the Charlotte 49ers. Their season was over by that point. So either there was a group that they thought were going to be their coach that they messed up on, right? Didn't get the close, or he didn't know who was actually the ones they were going after. Part of the disconnect, according to The Athletic, between the Board of Trustees and the administration, part of the disconnect comes from the impression that Prayer, the Board of Trustees chair, and at least one other member of UNC's board presented Belichick with a preliminary offer to make him the Tar Heels' next head coach. Any board member going over top university officials' heads to do so would violate the university's bylaws, which would be grounds for dismissal from the board. That's from The Athletic, which, by the way, would confuse reporters depending on which side you're talking to. If you talk to Belichick's side, perhaps, and he's going, yeah, they sent me an offer, but it came from someone who's not allowed to give you an offer. Then you go to the UNC side, and they're like, we haven't given an offer. We're the only ones that are allowed to give an offer. Now you're starting to see how the ball might be in two different courts at the same time. Amid all of the uncertainty around who is actually making this hire, back to the Athletic article, Iowa State head coach Matt Campbell declined to meet with UNC over the weekend, according to sources familiar with his thinking and those briefed on UNC's search, meaning there are top-level candidates. Matt Campbell's been rumored to be at every single job in the last 5 years. There are top-level candidates that are going, you don't have your own yard in order. I'm not going to come over for a barbecue. This would not be an easy hire. The Bill Belichick hire, according to, back to The Guardian now, got to get all my reports correct. Bill Belichick is bringing a 400-page, I guess, like Bible program guideline that is going to outline everything he wants to have in a program.
It's like the employee handbook.
It's the employee handbook with core values and mission statements and structures and hierarchies and everything. And reportedly, this is I'm calling it the NFLization of college sports. It is a distinct personnel side and coaching side. There will be a GM whose contract will have a buyout. We're talking like a big contract. A GM, there will be a scouting department. There will be a coaching staff. There will be an NIL. There'll be a salary cap squad. It is an NFL structure in college. It will be expensive. It has a budget for each position, all according to The Guardian. Bill Belichick was on the Pat McAfee show yesterday. His thoughts do kind of align. He explained that a college program would look like an NFL program if he ran it.
The college program would be a pipeline to the NFL for the players that had the ability to play in the NFL. It would be a professional program, training, nutrition, scheme, coaching, techniques that would transfer to the NFL. It would be an NFL program at a college level, and an education that would get the players ready for their career after football, whether that was the end of their college career or at the end of their pro career. But it would be, geared toward, developing the player, time management, discipline, structure, and all that. That would be life skills, regardless of whether they're in the NFL or in somewhere in business. And I feel very confident that I have the contacts in the National Football League to pave the way for those players that would have the ability to have the opportunity to compete in the National Football League. Whether they're good enough or not, I don't know, but they would be ready for it. I don't have any doubt about that.
That is fascinating, but it would take a massive commitment from UNC. It would be an upheaval to everything you know about college football. So it becomes that is the sticking point for me. If you need 100% approval of the powers that be in order to do something big and innovative, and you don't even know who the powers that be are because they might not even know who the powers that be are, that's a really difficult situation. But it's one that UNC should do everything they possibly can to get sorted, because if there's a chance to be innovative with one of the greatest coaches of all time and maybe be a trendsetter and have everyone else copy what you're doing, I think you have to do everything you can to take that chance. And as I said yesterday, it might blow up in your face, but heck, hiring an offensive coordinator from the Big Ten might blow up in your face too. There's no guarantee for anyone.
And the big question is, who's making the call?
Who can say yes?
Who can say yes?
It's like the sales. For a while, my social media feeds, the algorithm thought I needed sales lessons. I don't know why. Maybe it was hinting at something.
Okay. But
I got all these very animated motivational speakers going, all right, pretend I'm trying to sell you. It was all that kind of stuff. Everyone was the Wolf of Wall Street guy, right? Show me this pen. And they all had these big whoa moments. But half of it was like, you got to get to the decision maker, right? If someone can't tell you yes, don't let them tell you no. You gotta get to the decision maker. That's what Belichick needs to do. Maybe go straight to like the chancellor, right? Go straight to the top and say, listen, me and you, we need to hammer this out or not, but I'm done talking to all your cronies. Because the transfer portal opened yesterday, and my scouting department that I'm bringing with me needs to get to work.